Okay, now move on to the next thing, which I am excited about. This is what I came for. Metroid Dread. Nintendo, well done. That game has... You know, I've been dissing Nintendo for a while, you know. Okay, every time they do, shut your every time, like, I see a Nintendo on like YouTube, they're releasing a new game. I literally couldn't care less. I really couldn't care less. And then when we saw that Metroid Dread trailer, I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And you know, I've only touched a Switch twice. I've only touched this thing twice. Once because I went to try out Zelda, and I'm like, oh, Zelda's actually really good, and I really should get back into Zelda. Then when I was watching you play Metroid Dread, I was like, I need to try this game out. And I was, when you guys came, I was like, why are you home already now? I was enjoying this. This game is good. Like, it's just, as I played this game, I was like, these guys are geniuses. Like, this is like really good game design. Like, nothing seems like out of place. Nothing seems wasted. It's so simple. It's so simple, but it just works.
So talk to us about the story of Metroid. I know everything about Metroid and I'm so excited about the game.
And to be honest, the story is a bit cack, but the story is very straightforward. It's like, I mean, to be fair, Nintendo do okay stories. They're okay. I mean,
what's a good Nintendo story?
I mean, Zelda
I feel like this shot's fine at Nintendo.
Zelda story generally has the same sort of recipe, doesn't it? You know, there's the princess, and you know, some dead-ass elf boy that can't talk.
In their whole, like, storyline thing, they're not even coherent.
Okay, fine. Their storyline is shit. But their gameplay...
It's like Capcom, innit?
Oh, Capcom... no, Capcom storyline isn't the thing, too.
I guess their storylines are good for Resident Evil outside of that.
No, even Resident Evil, bro. Even Resident Evil, after a while, you'll be like, okay. So the story in this one is that they try and like basically like consolidate much of their story together right at the start of the game, because guess what? They haven't released a Metroid game in like how many years?
I think it's like 15 years or something.
Yeah, so we've all forgotten what the story is. Wow.
Bro, like a Metroid game, like side scrolling one.
The one before that one was cancelled.
Whilst you guys are talking, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, the one before this one was cancelled. It was a 3D...
What, Prime?
No, not Prime. There was one after Prime that was cancelled.
There was one that was made by Tim Ninja.
That wasn't very good apparently. Yeah, it wasn't done very well.
Prime came on GameCube, right?
What other? Which one?
Prime
was on GameCube. Yeah. After Prime was that one, the one another M, which looked good.
That was on Wii. I played like the first level.
It had a very poor response to it. Like a lot of the controls were quite. It lacked a lot of the. It was very Team Ninja, and Team Ninja are great developers, and I like how they tried to put a spin on it, but it almost seemed like they needed more time to refine or something. There are a lot of stuff about how like the voiceovers are a bit rubbish and so on and so forth, and some cutscenes don't make any sense, and like it just wasn't a refined game, and it didn't take it. People didn't like it basically, but after that, nothing. And apparently there was another one that got cancelled. And it looked really weird. They could a completely different spin on it. It looked really different. It didn't really even look like it looked like some like you know when you're reading those magazines, those game magazines. And they draw Mega Man on it. And Mega Man doesn't look like Mega Man. He actually is holding a physical gun. Like that's how kind of thing. Like some people have said like, oh, Mega Man is this kid that shoots stuff. And they're like, with gun, right? They draw Mega Man with a gun and spikes on it. It didn't look like Mega Man. I think that's why it didn't look like a Metroid game. And then years and years go by. And I've been complaining a lot of time about why Nintendo is just like, just make the IPs that we want. We want Metroid, we want Zelda, we want a pure Mario game. Not Mario playing tennis, not Mario playing golf, not Mario at the seaside. A Mario game. What else did they do? What IPs did they got? F-Zero. Star Fox. You know, the things that we grew up. And they made that Star Fox game, which was so like it's not that we grew up as kids, you know, like we grew up playing as kids.
I was gonna say Sonic, but that's Sega.
Nah, it's Sega. Yeah. See, Splatoon, I don't give a damn about Splatoon. Wow. Like it's a good game.
I was about to say Mega Man as well.
Because you were playing on the Nintendo. And then they showed this trailer, and the game it's there. I'm really enjoying it. Like I'm not even that into Metroidvanias personally. Like I think they're good, but like as I'm playing this game, I'm like, this is solid.
The turnaround time was crazy as well. When they announced it,
it came out like a month later.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, Metroid, when's the last Metroid before this was, I think 2007 Metroid Prime 3? Like in terms of like
that's actual... That's Metroid game, but we're talking about Metroid...
No, I'm thinking I meant Metroid game.
Metroid, like part of that, you know...
Yeah, but then the side-scrolling one, no.
Yeah, the last one was a Metroid Fusion, Game Boy Advance.
But like a Metroid game, 2007, right?
All these stuff.
Metroid, the Prime one. When did Metroid Fusion come out?
It came out.
I just counted the years in my hand. 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Metroid Fusion came out 2002.
Wow.
So a long time.
That is a long time.
But part of me is a bit mixed now because I'm a bit like, right,
Almost
you
20
guys.
years.
Bro.
And part of me is feeling like, you guys have made this game so far that I haven't played much of it, but I passed the first boss and I'm like, this is incredible. This is just great. Like it does something I've never seen before.
Actually, sorry, wait.
Huh?
So wait, there was Metroid Fusion. I remember there was a Metroid game after, but that was like a remake of the.
That's why I didn't count that as done.
Oh, okay. I do remember there was a remake of the one of Metroid, the first Metroid, I think, on Game Boy Advance as well. Or was it on DS or one of them ones?
Actually, that's right. I keep forgetting to like recap the story. So basically, Metroid is about Metroid aliens that touch you and absorb your energy or whatever. And then they're made by these things called chozos. And your character is a robot girl. Yeah, it's a girl. And you,
it's a girl in suits.
Yeah, because those like people don't know it's a girl until the thing, and it's like, oh my god, it's a girl.
I didn't know it was a girl.
When I first played Metroid, I thought it was just a robot. To be honest,
I found out it was a girl and freaking.
But you found out when you found out when she dies.
That's what I'm saying. When she dies, yeah. But the thing is, in the original one, you don't know she's a girl until the end. Yeah. But anyway, so she is hunting this thing called Metroids, which are the alien brain things, and like. So that finishes, and then she goes to another planet where there's this thing called the X parasites, which will touch any organism living or dead and copy it and become that parasite. And she goes there and she gets infected. And the thing basically, and there's the story, they do this thing with Metroid, which is clever at first, but after a while, it gets a bit silly, where you enter the world with your entire power suits fully powered up, because obviously in the last game, you collected all this stuff and upgraded your suit, and then you leave. And then something happens and you end up always losing your powers. Yeah, that's you always lose your powers at the start. And it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Yeah. And the way they do it, they try and do it in a clever way. Like in Fusion, Metroid Fusion, the X parasite touches you and you have to, I think you lose or you ditch your suit. I can't remember what it is. Something like you lose or ditch your suit somehow. And then the suit basically gets completely absorbed by the parasite and becomes this thing that chases you, that has all your powers. And you're trying to like get stuff back in order to fight this thing back. And when you see it, you have to run. You can't fight it at all.
I love game logic. You go to an alien planet, you know nothing about this planet. You lose all your powers on this planet, but somehow manage to get all your powers back on the same planet you know nothing about.
It's game.
That's the God of War.
That's the God of War effect, man. God of War 1, 2, and 3.
Well, they might change it when that's not what
And then so you land in this place, and it happens again. You fight this thing. The first time we've ever seen a Chozo moving. It's a bit of a spoiler, to be honest. And then it's a bit of a spoiler, and then it happens like right at the start, but like you lose all your power. You basically have like physical amnesia is what they called it or something, and you lose all your powers and you have to go through and get stuff again. And in this one, things are chasing you called Emmys, and this Emmy thing, right? This thing kind of adds a lot to this game.
No like, spoiler alert.
This thing's part of the game. They showed it in trailers already. If you haven't watched the trailer, well, then it's on you. They've shown it already, right? And this thing, it's quite a simple addition to the game, but it adds so much tension to the game because like there are parts of the zone that when you enter it, these Emmys occupy. And all you hear, the music completely changes when you're in there. And it's just spooky little music. And you hear this little beeping sound. Just and you're a bit like, you're scared to move. Because the moment you move, if it's in range, it'll hear you and it'll speed up. Right. And you can see it on your minimap. And this thing messed me up when I first played. I didn't look at my minimaps. So when you leave, this place is just a massive corridor of like doors and zones and stuff. And when you leave a zone, right, because you get scared. Because you get scared because you can't do anything to this thing. If it catches you, you're dead. That's it. You die. That's it. Wow. So you run, right? And you see an exit and you take the fucking exit. You're right. You take the exit and you're like, I'm not meant to go in here. I have to go back to the door. And you think, it's game now. The robot will start back where it started from minutes. Open the door, robot is there. you literally, I screamed. I'm like, and it caught me. And they do this really clever thing. So that it's not really when you catch you die. So the way they show like tutorials and things quite well. They show you like an active situation where you need to actually press a button in order for the game pauses and explains something to you. And for the game to continue, you need to press the button you need to press in order to like do a counter or do whatever. And in the beginning, you fight an enemy that's like broken and you counter it. So there's like a split second in between before you die that the monster flashes. And if you press X at just the right moment, you counter it. I've been killed by these things 12 times. I've counted it once.
Wow.
It's that frame.
It's like a literally, it's almost like...
So your only counter was the tutorial counter?
No, actually twice then. I managed to counter it once by myself, and when it happened, I didn't even know I did. I was like, oh shit, and I just ran. Right. Because like, it's almost like you need to almost like predict it, because it's so like instantaneous.
You can't match them.
Yeah, and in some cases you get 2 chances. Like it'll grab you first, and the first grab it flashes and it grabs you, and the second grab will kill you. The second thing will kill you, or something like it hits you once and you're dead. So, and this is a really clever thing because you spend a lot of this new zone in between have to go through these corridors and being chased by these things. And sometimes when I enter a corridor, I look at my minimap and I'm just like planning my routes of escape, because there's no time to look, because you're just running. Because if it catches you, you're dead. Right? And it's a very, very simple addition to the game, but it really adds like an element of tension, because everything else around the map is kind of rubbish. Like everything that you meet, you can kill them relatively easily. It's more about finding a way around until you get to the boss, and then the boss is like a mini puzzle or whatever. When you get to the ME zones, that's where like the game really like makes you have to just like calm yourself and just be like, what am I doing? It brings you back into the game again, and I just think it's really clever. I'm the only one that's played it in this room right now.
I want that game. I want it. I saw the trailer and I was like, yes, this is probably the best Metroid game I have seen.
Oh, you're gonna stream this stuff?
I want to know if we can, to be honest.
Yeah, you just need to download Twitch.
But we have the tech for it, right? Don't we? Yeah. So maybe we'll stream it one day. But so I guess the question I can ask for right now is, you're gonna play it.
Yeah, I've got it.
You've got it. You don't have you might have to take your Switch back from someone. Possibly. You should back from someone. But I don't rate Nintendo games much at all. But like I am rating this so highly right now, and I think people should play it.
I can take your word for it, because like you say, you don't.
I don't really.
Yeah,
I've been stepping on them for a while, so. Like
the olives?
No, it's grapes.
Oh, okay.
Blueberries.
Okay.
I don't really know what do I need to like ask, because you guys haven't played it yet. You've played it, but I don't know if you want to add anything. Really, can you even add anything from there? Who knows? Not really. But I mean,
what would you rate it out of 10?
I don't mind. I'm too close to the beginning to really give it a rating.
From what you've played,
from what I've seen, if I had to rate it like out of 10, I'd give it like. What is wrong with it right now? I wish there was a walk, because you know how there's no analog. I know when you
so you can't control the speed.
You can't control the speed of your run.
Okay.
Which at first is a little bit weird, because there are times where you kind of want to edge towards a corner, towards like the side of a cliff, for example, and just like aim downwards. But you go at full speed no matter what you do. That's probably my own
described in this game. I don't think you would want to walk.
No, but like when you play games like literally, if you want to walk, it's something that you do intentionally. You just have to like move your stick very slightly to walk, because anything more than just moving it slightly will cause you to run. Right. So it's very difficult there's no speed up needed. Like you have in Final Fantasy Remake, you have in loads of games where you tilt slightly, God of War, you tilt slightly, you walk. You hold it down, you run. Whereas in this, I even paused the game, try and see if there was like an option to put it on, because I felt like I needed it. I don't. Really, when you play the game, you don't really need it. Just hit the L button to aim, and your character stops. So it's kind of like a thing. So you don't need a walk function. But currently, I don't have anything bad to say about the game yet. The graphics could be better.
I mean, you could say that about anything. Really.
Yeah, but
it looks
the graphics could be better. But you know what? The graphics aren't very good in Nintendo.
Oh boy,
that's not the reason why.
Oh boy.
What is the reason?
Because Breath of the Wild look beautiful.
To be fair,
yeah,
Breath of the Wild does look good.
It's just the art style they decided to go with.
Yeah,
no, I don't.
Cell shaded.
To be fair though,
no, it's not even cell shaded. And
the new Metroid isn't cell.
I mean Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, maybe the cell shaded works for that, because it looks good in that style. Metroid Prime doesn't look bad at all. It's just the graphics could be better. Right.
It looks like it's not a current generation.
Because even Mario Odyssey looks good as well. Mario Odyssey graphically looks good. And
would you agree with that? The graphics aren't that great. Yeah, okay.
For what it is, it looks. I think the Mario one looks good. It's just maybe that's just what they went to. That's what they decided.
I think they're trying to give it its
maintain the power or something.
Kind of feel.
I don't know.
That being said, I would have. Let me not say what I thought. If you play Super Metroid, they use a lot of dark colors in Super Metroid, which gave it a kind of dark tone. This one feels a bit more colorful, but I think they made it like that because they've just released their Switch OLED, so they want the color. That's like their they both came out at the same time, so it's really
it's possible it might just be intentional.
Yeah, but I would have preferred it to be darker tone in the colors as well as the.
It would have made sense.
More like Prime. Prime was quite dark.
Yeah.
It would have made sense based on the title.
Yeah. Although when you're looking at the game though, from the view that you're looking at, you can see it. You see quite a lot on the screen at once. And if you all you got was a lot of grays and darks, I don't think it would work that well. Because at least in Metroid Prime, you have a view, right? And the view is basically what you're looking at, and it's a little bit more like, I think it feels more immersive because of the view, like in Resident Evil games and so on and so forth. Like, if you're looking in first person, you get a different kind of gameplay. And I think if everything was just popping at you in that kind of style, it doesn't seem as real. Because first person is a bit more like you're that person, right? But in third person, I think it works better. It would be weird, I think, if it was a lot of grays. And again, so there's just some areas in the game where are quite dark in tone. Like the enemy zones are usually quite gray.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I mean, it does feel very colorful.
Yeah, it is a colorful game.
It's not, again, it's not a bad thing. I just feel like coming from its beginnings.
Yeah.
And kind of returned into it. I mean, I'm trying to remember how Fusion was. I can't.
Fusion.
I don't remember how.
I think Fusion was pretty colorful. It was a Game Boy Advance game, right?
I do think it was as well. But I'm really kind of just going off of what I saw from the Super Nintendo one, which was like my experience of Metroid. So, and I remember that whole color palette played into how you felt when you're playing the game. You had that sense of being alone. Even though I feel like this one, Dread, also has that same sense of, well, I'm really alone on this ship, and I have to run away from things. It still has that same feeling, but the color palette also plays into it. But then again, you just remember it's a Nintendo game. They're always going to have that kind of style. That's my criticism of what I've seen of it. Outside of that, is it going to stop me from playing the game? No. The graphics, we know that the graphics are not Nintendo's thing. They don't care about graphics anymore. They don't care about power anymore. So it's just a fight that,
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. I'm not looking and thinking the graphics in this game are rubbish. I'm just sort of like
it
thinking.
It would be nice if it was better.
Yeah, I've been like, you know what? If this game would look even better if they had more power. And
I don't know if that. I don't even know if this is the power, because I'm looking at even the file size of it was alleged. I think 6 gig.
Okay, maybe it's not the power thing, but I don't think there's a conversation about optimization and.
Yes, optimization, but again, 6 gig. You could have added a lot.
6 gig game, is that it?
Yeah, you could have added like a lot of higher res textures to that. But again, it's just how it would run, and like you said, the optimization. How would it run on the hardware that is given?
Yeah. So you don't know. Think of what else. The game is too soon, so I can't really say anything else other than the fact that I guess the graphics could be better. And that's it at the moment. I currently love everything currently right now. Like if I get a lot of nostalgia from it with a little hint of like new stuff in there. It's very simple to pick up. Your hands pick it up eventually. First it's a little bit like what the fuck, and then your hands pick it up eventually. I'm being engrossed in the story that isn't there because there's a bit of mystery right now. You know how they don't fill in the blanks, right? So it's sort of like a Dark Souls game where like they just drop you somewhere and then you fill in the blanks yourself. And in Metroid, the premise is basically they give you a premise and just let you just go. And you kind of, there isn't that much of a narrative in most Metroid games, as I'm aware. And then you kind of just put it together like Hollow Knight kind of does, where there is a premise and you just go through the game and then you almost don't even really know what the story was. You just kind of like...
It's a Metroidvania.
You just kind of piece it together on your own. Yeah,
I had no... Like, when I really think about it, when I did play Super Metroid, I don't really know what was going on.
Not really. Not really.
It's just fun to play.
Even when the start of this game, they give you a summary, I'm a bit like, oh, is that what happened? Okay. I didn't freaking know.